The Amazon rainforest is well known as the world's largest rainforest, spanning over 2 million square miles in South America and running through Brazil, Peru, Colombia and 6 other countries. Whilst we are all quite aware of the scale of the Amazon, there are plenty of facts, discoveries and unanswered questions hidden within the trees. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 Amazon mysteries and discoveries. The mystery soil Terra Preta. The red and yellow soils associated with the Amazon appear on the surface to keep the rainforest vibrant and flourishing. But beneath all that, the soils contain low levels of nutrients, leaving much of the land infertile and unsuitable for farming. Yet, the Amazon rainforest produces food, resources, and wonderful greenery. The fertile soil within the Amazon is known as Terra Preta, informally known as Amazonian dark earth. Terra Preta is anthropogenic, or artificially made, specifically to counter the infertile soil in the Amazon. Terra Preta is formed through the indigenous soil management technique known as slash and char. Slash and char is an innovative farming technique that produces fertile soil through the burning of wet vegetation. The ash produced is then transferred into the soil. Other control methods release harmful chemicals and emit twice as much carbon dioxide as slash and char. These involve the dry burning of grass and bush. The key characteristics of Terra Preta are the dark colour of it, hence the name translating to black soil. A high concentration of charcoal, which when weathered creates the dark colour, a high concentration of pottery shards and organic matter such as animal feces, fish and animal bones. The charcoal is the most distinctive aspect of Terra Preta, as it binds together the minerals and nutrients within the soil, allowing them to be retained, otherwise it would decompose with the rain. The charcoal stays in the soil for centuries, even for thousands of years, stabilizing the soil. The high nutrient levels in the soil provide the fertility that makes Terra Preta so valuable. Some examples of nutrients that have been found include nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, zinc, and manganese. This stimulates higher levels of microorganic activity. There are other attributes to this miracle soil, though these vary depending upon the ecosystem they are in. The nutrient retention of this soil means that farmers are not forced to migrate due to deforestation. Deforestation leaves areas of the rainforest burned, and in these places the soil is fertile for only a short period of time. Usually, these nutrients are swept away with the rain, which is of course a common occurrence in the rainforest. The high levels of charcoal content mean Terra Preta is less susceptible to nutrient leaching, proving to be incredibly useful to farming communities. Analysis of the content within the soil, largely from the pottery shards, indicate that the soil dates back to between 450 BCE and 950 CE. This has been a huge revelation, as until this analysis, we were unaware of civilizations that existed 2,000 years ago who were capable of creating pottery like this, never mind utilizing it to create this rich soil. To give a contextual picture as to the size of this soil, the depth is approximately 2 meters, but the soil regenerates itself at a rate of 1 centimeter per year. Currently, the amount of soil is estimated to cover the same ground as France. Some scientists, largely geologists and archaeologists, have theorized that the soil was created through communal compost piles, where generations after generations have put their food, human and animal waste into these piles. This is evidenced by the patches reaching up to half a hectare in size. Others believe this was not used for agricultural farming, and the sheer volume of soil suggests crop use instead. Modern technology, namely low-temperature pyrolysis, has produced biological discussions at industrial scales, suggesting that the revolution could have occurred at a much earlier date. In the past, similar findings have been suggested. In 1874, Charles Hart led a biological expedition in the Amazon basin where it proposed that Terra Preta had been used for sugar plantations, though his findings were dismissed at the time. This miraculous soil is what gives us the Amazon rainforest we know today. Civilizations that used to live within the Amazon. Since the 16th century, we have held the warped belief that the Amazon rainforest was largely untouched and entirely natural. It was a common assumption that prior to the Spanish invasions, only small groups of nomadic people lived intermittently along the Amazon riverbanks and estuary. Though new research suggests otherwise, revealing vast interconnected villages near the Amazon. Areas of the Amazon that previously could not be explored have been made accessible due to the development of satellite imagery. This allows for even the densest areas of the forest to be explored, letting archaeologists search for the ancient geoglyphs that indicate the presence of civilizations. Geoglyphs are art pieces formed through the moving of the landscape, such as arrangements of stones. The team, funded in part by National Geographic, had a set of 24 coordinates they considered leads, all of which proved to be positive. One in particular, however, proved to be incredibly useful, leading scientists to ceramics and charcoal, which testing indicated comes from 1410 CE. Trends also seem to show that the geoglyphs are most likely to be found in places on high elevation, such as the hills within the Amazon. This new research shows that the civilizations had settled in a wider space than we thought, as people lived further than the riverside, with settlements spanning over 1,100 miles. Another conclusion drawn from this study is that the population densities predicted through computer modelling were higher than thought previously. It was thought, prior to this research, that 2 million lived in the Amazon rainforest. But now we know 500,000 to 1 million live within only 7% of the Amazon basin. A previous idea was that after the European conquests, those who lived in the forest had passed away due to diseases and genocide. Primary author of the research project, Jose Iriarte, archaeologist from the University of Exeter, said in relation to this, "We need to re-evaluate the history of the Amazon." Other information we know surrounding the history of the civilizations living in the Amazon is fairly limited. The Inca Empire was at its height of productivity and growth when the Spanish, French, Dutch, and English invasions began to occur. Inca's societies were based in Cusco, Peru, and these small societal groups and communities stretched into the Amazon lowlands. The assumption that the rainforest was untouched and the ignoring of these groups stems from the European invasions of early modern Europe. The diseases brought over by these new groups led to rapid loss of lives, effectively erasing the appearance of the hard work and lifestyle of these indigenous groups, as the rainforest appeared uninhabited to newcomers. With the European conquests, many indigenous people became victims in forced labour camps, eventually resulting in the tragedy of enslavement and genocides of these remarkable groups of people. The Amazon is a man-made food forest. Relatively new research suggests that a large proportion of the edible plants we harvest from the Amazon rainforest today were actually planted by other humans over 4,500 years ago. Ancient humans would use farming techniques such as horticulture and permaculture as opposed to the modern agricultural farming we see today. A relatively holistic study took the views and expertise of archaeologists, paleontologists, botanists and ecologists from the University of Exeter in England. This aimed to give a detailed history of the long-term human land use and its effects, the first study to attempt to tackle this subject. The findings of the study described a significantly more active role of humans in the creation of food than was anticipated. The land that for so long had been considered untouched was, in reality, flourishing due to the human impact of indigenous people. The slash and char technique to improve nutrient content in the soil allowed a host of crops to be grown, with traces of maize, sweet potato, manioc, and squash farming all being evident within eastern Brazil 4,500 years ago. The forest gardening is undeniably more positive and sustainable than the current methods we use in modern society. Whilst some clearing of the rainforest occurred, this was not comparable to the rapid deforestation we see today, or even since the arrival of Europeans within South America. The preservation of the forest and protection of crops and soil proved to not limit the food produce that was gained from the forest. Many have presented their hopes that modern farming will see a shift towards the techniques used in the Amazon by indigenous people to create a healthier rainforest and more sustainable food production. The growth of plants that is continuing after 45 centuries is proof as to the long-term success of forest gardening. The prediction of the Amazon being a man-made food forest was presented by Toby Hemingway, a permaculturist who made his predictions based upon the walnut, chestnuts, hickory nuts, beech nuts, acorns, and high concentration of salmon within the rivers. The environmentally friendly systems provided by groups who were unjustly executed may provide positive alternatives to modern agriculture. Will we ever be able to switch to such an environmentally beneficial form of farming while sustaining the consumerism of modern society? The Amazon rainforest is home to many exciting discoveries and information. From the soil to the people, the rich history is something we can only hope to delve further into in the future. But what do you make of these Amazon discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.